Hi everyone, it's Andrea from Movers and Bakers. Today I'm going to share with you how I make my cranberry and orange biscotti. These are beautiful crunchy biscuits, perfect with a cup of coffee or even for some festive gifting. Let's get baking. Right, to start with, we're going to put our wet ingredients into a small bowl. I'm using a jug today. So I've got here some oil, milk, caster sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons of orange extract. So we're going to give that a quick mix. Now, if you don't want to use orange extract or you don't have orange extract, you can absolutely use the zest of a whole orange if you want to instead. That works just as well. And once you've mixed all that together, we're going to add one more ingredient, and that's my chopped up cranberries. So these are dried cranberries. I'm just going to pop them all in and give them a little mix through. And that is all my wet ingredients sorted for now. So I'm going to set that aside and move on to my dry ingredients. So in a large bowl, I'm going to pop my sieve over and I'm going to put some plain flour and some baking powder. I'm going to sift that in, and that's going to make sure that I have no lumps in my flour, but also make sure if I've got any extra little bits in there that they don't go in my biscotti. And while I'm sifting this is a brilliant time for me to remind you to hit up that like button and subscribe as well if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out my other cranberry and orange videos, because I kind of like this flavor combination. Once you have sifted together your dry ingredients, we're going to pour our wet ingredients directly into here. And we're going to mix it all together. Now, I should have said, before I started making any of this and measuring my ingredients out, I turned my oven on. So my oven has been preheating at 180 Celsius, that's 350 Fahrenheit. And I have a baking sheet lined with some parchment paper ready to be used. And once you have brought all your ingredients together into a dough, I'm going to pop my bowl to the side, and on a clean work surface, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour. This is just to stop my dough from sticking to my work surface. And I'm going to tip this out. And once you've got your dough out, you're just going to give it a little bit of a knead, more just to bring it all together, to make sure all your dough is stuck together and it's all mixed really well. So that's literally about 10 seconds or so of kneading. Now, once you have done that, we're going to split this into roughly half. I just do it by eye. I don't measure it or anything especially. Get a little bit more on that side. That feels good. Set one aside for a minute. Let's have a little bit more flour. And I'm going to shape this dough into a log. So I'm still keeping it really nice and tightly squeezed together. And I'm just going to very gently keep pushing it back in, shape it. Now, what happens with this as it bakes in the oven is you can make it a pretty good log shape, but as it bakes, it will flatten a little bit, and that's absolutely fine. That's what always happens with me. Don't panic about it if it happens. And once you have got a log done, we're going to grab our baking tray that I prepared earlier. And I want my log to be as even in thickness as possible, all the way to the ends, to the point that I even squish the ends in a little bit. And we're going to lift this and pop it on our baking tray. Just like that. So I'm going to do exactly the same with the other half of my dough, and then this is going to go into my oven. It bakes for about 20 to 22 minutes, and I will see you on the other side when we are ready to cut it. Welcome back. So my biscotti logs have come out of the oven. I have cooled them for about 20 minutes or so, just long enough that they still feel slightly warm, and that's fine, but I wanted them to firm up when they came out of the oven. And now it's for the second step. If you don't know, biscotti are always baked twice, so these are going to need another bake. But before I bake them, I'm going to cut them into slices. So I'm using a serrated edged bread knife, and there's a little bit of a trick to this. It's not hard. I like to cut mine at an angle, and when you cut, you need to let the knife do all the work for you. If you go straight down and put a lot of pressure down, I find that makes it crumble a lot more, and you end up with your biscuits breaking apart and not staying together, not holding their shape. So just let the knife do all the hard work for you and just go back and forth. You want each of your cuts. So the end ones are perks of the chef. You can obviously make them and serve them if you want to. So they're going to go back on my baking tray. And the rest of them I'm going to cut roughly about 1 inch wide. So just take your time. You just want to let the knife hold it on either side, and you just want to let the knife do the work for you. There you go. And then we're going to pop those back on our baking tray. And once I have filled my baking tray up, that's going to go back in my oven and bake for another 10 minutes or so, just to really crisp up the whole biscuit so that it's lovely and crunchy. And I shall see you on the other side with more baked biscuits. Welcome back. So my biscotti have had their second bake and they are completely cool. Now, the danger is I like to eat them when they are still warm. They are absolutely gorgeous. But of course, you can cool them down and enjoy them that way too. And that is it. Our biscotti are done and ready to be enjoyed. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like it and hit that subscribe button if you have. And do join me next time. Happy baking, my friends.